My name's Elijah Vanderkwast, and my role here with JCU is a specialist in security and risk management for information technology. A digital citizen, in my view, very simply is anyone who engages in an online community through technology or other means. And a digital citizen is a really important concept because it's relatively new concept for us to comprehend. And we need to be good digital citizens. And what that means is that we have the skills and knowledge to engage in those online communities, in those financial transactions, and in those with different businesses, etc., to make sure that we get the intended outcome that we're looking for, and that we don't offend other people as well. So there's a number of skills and behaviours that go into that. A digital footprint is essentially a representation of you. And the way I think about it is a collage. So if you've ever seen a collage of a person's face that's made up of a number of newspaper clippings or of images of themselves, a digital footprint is essentially that. Yeah, everything that you post in terms of your pictures, your viewpoints, your comments, etc. online forms your digital footprint. And what's important around for I guess students or people who are new to technology, especially the younger generation, is that digital footprint will now exist over the lifetime of that individual. So for someone like me, that digital footprint started at a point in my life, and it didn't capture my younger years. For other people, that will go all the way from birth, potentially right through their entire lifetime. And what we must understand is when we sit back and look at that digital footprint or that collage, what does it say about us? So all our affiliations and associations, our successes, our failures, positives and negatives, a lot of those are now online. And when we aggregate those and we look at those overall, we must have in mind what that says about us and whether it's desirable or whether we need to change that and monitor it as well. If we think about the digital footprint as a whole, and we take everything from, say, online banking right through to, let's say, social media, yeah, or a sporting club, let's say, that you're a member of, yeah. And if we think about that continuum for a moment, there are some aspects that we can control, such as our banking, that are potentially necessities in today's day and age, that we need to do, that we need to engage in. They're the must-haves, yeah, or the need-to-haves that make our lives better. And then there's a selection of that continuum that is elective, yeah. And that elective component, such as the photos that we post, the online communities we engage in, the services, the game sites that we sign up to, etc., they're elective. And we can choose as much or a little of that as we like. So there is a portion here that is elective, and we must be mindful in that overall digital footprint and that collage, every time we add a picture to that collage as an elective, what it says about us. So with the digital footprint comes a responsibility to engage and being having the right skills to be, I guess, a good digital citizen. I like the term being the CEO of your cyber safe strategy, especially a lot of the choices I said around online banking we don't have a choice about in today's age, but there are a number of areas that we do have a choice. And what being the CEO of your digital safety strategy means is that you're empowering yourself to control your digital footprint and how that digital footprint is created and how it operates. So one of the key aspects, I guess, in that first instance is passwords have become incredibly important. And the importance of passwords are that they bind you as a physical person to your digital identity and to your digital footprint. And if that password is lost or otherwise obtained by someone else, then they can assume your digital footprint, your friendship groups and your online communities, and they can act as you. In the physical presence, in the physical context, that's not always as easy because we have some visual recognition. In the online context, it's much different. So passwords are extremely important because they form that binding. And one of the first strategies that as individuals in the digital, as a digital citizen and first aspect of our personal strategy should be to manage those passwords. And I often promote with people, you need to love your password because it is your gateway to your identity and to a number of services, to a number of, financial aspects as well. And some simple strategies around that are to enable multi-factor authentication or two-step authentication for services, and not just one or two services, as many services as you can do. Now this sometimes feels like a little bit of a change in behaviour and an impost to people's time. Yeah? But like most things, we are creatures of habit, and once we do something for a period of time, it becomes habit and we no longer notice that it is an impost. So we must create a positive habit on how we manage our passwords. That's really important. And we need to transition from today's concepts to new concepts. And those new concepts are multi-factor authentication. A lot of online services will offer that for free now. A lot of banks will offer that for free as well. Where they don't, then I recommend that we seriously consider signing up for additional costs, etc. And what multi-factor or two-step authentication does is it removes just the reliance on that password and places reliance on another attribute, something you may have, something you may know, or something that can be sent to your phone, for instance. So it strengthens your ability to bind yourself as a person to the online community. And that gives us a higher level of trust. If I know that you use that and I use that as well, then we've got a higher level of trust, and we can lift that level of trust up from a basic simple password to something that's a little bit stronger. And that gives me a lot more value in the digital community, and it also means that I can trust that online presence of you to a higher extent. So staying educated is also important. So staying up to date with the latest trends and developments in the industry. And there's a number of government websites that are available that are written by security industry people and they relay that information out to individuals can sign up, small businesses can sign up, organisations such, larger organisations as well can sign up to those as well. So Stay Smart Online, ScamWatch are two government resources that are used, and they're free resources provided by the government as well. There are a number of other independent research bodies that can alert you to certain compromises of your email address, etc., and they're well documented online for anyone who's interested. So as a part of the Prevent Cyberbullying website, there are a number of resources and ebooks there on the digital citizen, the digital footprint, as well as the being the CEO of your cyber safety strategy. We've also got a number of resources on the JCU websites as well that relate to cyber safety, etc. There are also a number of discussion groups and bulletin boards that are used to present topics that are more timely in relevance for people to consume. The 3S strategy is to start, stop and stay. And these are strategies that we start doing, stop doing and stay doing. And strategies that we start to do is start to love your password. Yeah? Think about it this way. Change your password every time you change your toothbrush is generally a good piece of advice. Yeah? Make it a routine process. The other strategy to start doing is start monitoring your digital footprint. Yeah? You can conduct online searches against your name or your address or some key details and start to monitor your digital footprint. What would other people see about you if they were to look for your details online? In terms of stop doing, one of the key aspects that we need to manage is how we engage in those digital communities. So the technology platforms that we use, whether it's a phone or a computer, etc. And what we need to be mindful of is the programs and software that we put on those. So if we were to stop doing something, it's stop installing applications or software that can knowingly or unknowingly lead to a negative impact on our digital reputation or theft of passwords, etc. And that can be things like malware. Okay, so managing the technology platform we use and the applications on that is really important. And I think about three things. If you have an application, make sure it's updated, continually updated. If you have any software, If you didn't go looking for it specifically and it's a pop-up, don't install it. Yeah? And they're two genuinely good bits of advice. And if we think about strategies to stay doing, it's to stay engaged. Stay talking about these challenges in your community, in your school groups, at home, at work with colleagues. Stay engaged, and that will help us all share experiences, both positive and negatives, and it will also allow us to develop a community of behaviours and attitudes that is really quite robust, and we will all benefit from that as digital citizens, and theoretically our digital footprint will also benefit from that because we will start to engage positively, which will then reflect positively on our digital footprint. The digital community and being a digital citizen, we've taken the physical community and we've supercharged that to the whole world, who in order of 6 billion people that have connectivity. And what that means is that from time to time we may be in scenarios where there are people with different goals to us. So we've got a goal to be a positive role model and have a positive digital footprint. We may come across some organisations or people or entities that have different goals to that. And these strategies hopefully help prevent those instances where we may come across those people and try and avoid them. It's not always possible, and there are some downsides, unfortunately. Yeah? So things like malware and phishing attempts, where someone attempts to impersonate someone via email, they're techniques that entities use to try and obtain financial advantage from us, or to try and attempt to compromise one of our passwords or other attribute of ours for another gain. And those gains are sometimes to our detriment, unfortunately.